We are supporting the Greensboro Clara House, which is a domestic shelter right here in our beloved city that houses women and children who have been domestically abused or sexually assaulted. The Clara House offers several services that range from interviewing to attire to children's food and school supplies, because sometimes money just needs to go to rent or safety and not those things. So the money that you have spent here tonight, whether it's your flower or a cupcake or your ticket, directly goes to the Clara House in Greensboro. So thank you so much for your money to Clara House. Before I get into too much, I do want to spend some time thanking our sponsors tonight. So we have some really wonderful people that support us financially and morally on our campus. The first and foremost is our student leadership groups. Residence Hall Association and National Residence Hall Honorary have really been fantastic supports of this show tonight, so please give it up for those two student organizations. We also couldn't do this without the support of the Elliott University Center, which is where you are tonight. The EUC actually donates this time and this space to us tonight when we would normally have to pay for the rehearsals and the lighting and the stage and the staff that are here tonight. They very graciously donate all of that so that we can raise money and do 100% benefit proceeds to the Clara House. So let's give it up for the EUC. So before we start the show, there's a couple of housekeeping items that I want to go over. First thing is that some of the scenes and monologues that you're about to experience, they can be intense and they can be serious. The stories that you hear are true, and they reflect the actual experiences of women who were brave enough to share them. If you experience a trigger during our show tonight, please know that we are here to support you. There are staff, myself included, in the back of the room who have direct access to several on-campus resources and support services, mainly our counseling center. Our counseling center staff is fabulous, and they are here for us 24/7, no matter what we need. I also want to give a shout out to the Campus Violence Resource Center, which is about to celebrate its 1-year anniversary right here on our campus. Their whole mission is to provide victims and survivors the support that they need should they have gone through a sexual assault, a rape, or any kind of interpersonal or relationship violence. So I just want to spend a minute talking about them. Number 2, please silence your cell phones. You knew it was coming. Please open your butterscotches now and do anything else you need to do before the show starts so that we are not distracting the cast. We do have an official photographer with us here tonight, so we ask that you refrain from taking any video or flash photography, as again, that may distract our actors. So while the show certainly contains some serious monologues, it's also filled with lots of humor and witty scenes. We hope that you'll laugh along with us and feel any emotion that you want to feel tonight. Who's ready to hear about some vaginas? Without further delay, I present to you the 6th annual Vagina Monologues.
Vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. Yes. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not so easy to even find your vagina. Some women go weeks, months, even years without even looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed. She said, she was busy. She didn't have the time. Looking at your vagina takes a full day's work. Get down there on your back, in front of a mirror, full length preferred, perfect position. Perfect light, which is somehow been shadowed by the mirror and the angle that you're at. You're arching your head, you're killing your back, you're all twisted up, you're exhausted by then. She's busy. She doesn't have time for that.
So there were vagina interviews, which turned into Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, young women, married women, single women, college professors, corporate professionals, actors, sex workers, African American women, Asian American women, Jewish women, Caucasian women, Native American women, Hispanic women. Okay. At first, they were reluctant to talk. They were a little shy. But once you got them started, you could not stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. Mainly because no one's ever asked them before.
Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best. Maybe even a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. Vagina. Doesn't matter how many times you say it never sounds like a word you want to say. It's a totally ridiculous, completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct. Darling, could you stroke my vagina? You killed the act right there.
We were worried about vaginas, what we call them and don't call them.
In Great Neck, they call it pussycat. A woman once there said her mother used to tell her, darling, don't wear your panties underneath your pajamas, dear. You need to get out your pussycat.
In Westchester, they called it a poopy.
New Jersey, a twat.
There's a powder box, a poopy, a poopaloo, a punani, a pal, and a peach.
Toady, Dee-dee, Nishi, Dignity, Monkey Box.
Coochi, Snorcher, Cooter, Blade.
Gladys Siegelman?
There's VA, Wee Wee, Poor Spot, Nappy Dugout,
Mongo, Mookie, Pajama, Fanny Boo, Mushmall.
A coolie, a tamale, a possible, a tortilla, a pecan.
a Mimi in Miami.
Split Pinish in Philadelphia.
And the Schmidt in the Bronx.
We're worried about vaginas.
Hair. You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it was dirty and cluttered. He made me shave my vagina. It looked puffy and exposed and like a little girl. This excited him. When he made love to me, my vagina felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub it and painful. Like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There were screaming red bumps. I refused to shave it again. Then, my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he said he screwed around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist had a German accent and gasped between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me why I didn't want to please my husband. I told her I felt little when my hair was going down there, and I couldn't help talking in a baby voice, and even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She said, marriage is a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would stop him from screwing around. I asked her if she had many cases like this before. She said, questions diluted the process. I needed to step in. She was sure
good beginning. This time, when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize for him. He cooked it a few times, and there was a little blood in the bathtub, but he didn't even notice it because he was so happy shaving me. And later, when my husband was pressing against me, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection, no fluff. I realized then that hair is there for a reason. It's deep around the flower. The lawn around the house. Yeah! You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. Yeah. And besides, my husband, he never stopped screwing around.
All the women were asked the following questions.
Hey, your vagina play dress. Woven where? Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, silk stockings, and pink. Okay, forward.
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting,
Emeralds, an evening gown, sequins.
Armani only.
a tutu, see-through black underwear, a taffeta ball gown,
Something machine washable. A costume, eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, angora, a red bow.
ermine and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo,
An electric shock device to keep unwanted strangers away. High heels, lace, and combat boots. Purple feathers, twigs, and shells. Cotton.
Yes!
a pinafore.
A bikini. A slipper.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down. Is that you?
Feed me. I want. Yum, yum. Oh, yeah.
Start again. No, over there. With me. Stay home. Great choice. Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More, more. Remember me?
Come inside. Not yet. Yes. Yes. Rock me. Enter at your own risk.
Don't stop. More, more. Oh, God. Thank God I'm here. Let's go, let's go. Bind me.
Thank you. Bonjour. Too hard. Don't give up. Where's Brian? Oh, that's better. Yes. There. Woo!
Down there. I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No. It's a cellar down there.
Yes, damp and clammy. Oh, you wouldn't want to go down there. Trust me, you'd get sick. Suffocating, very nauseating. The smell, the clamminess, and the mildew and everything. Smells unbearable. It's in your clothes. Oh no, there was no accident down there. No, it didn't blow up or catch fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. Well, I mean, never mind. Like, what's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down there's for? Didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. Oh, Jesus. All right. There was this boy, Andy Lefkoff, and he was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall, like me. And I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't do this. I can't talk to you about this. Talk about down there. Look, it's just part of the house. All right, like the cellar. There's rebels down there sometimes. Things get caught in the pipes. Animals and things. And sometimes it gets wet. And someone's got to go plug up the leaks. But otherwise, you forget about it. It stays closed. It's part of the house, like the cellar. Only you don't see it or think about it. But it's got to be there, because every house needs a cellar. Otherwise, the bedroom would be in the basement. Andy Lefkoff, right. Andy was very good looking. He was the catch. That's what we called it in my day. We were out in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I kept thinking my legs were too long for the seat. I have long legs. And they were smushed up against the dashboard, and I was sitting there looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way, and well, I got excited. So excited. Well, there was a flood down there. This force of passion, this river of life just flooded right out of me. Right through my panties. Right onto the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee. And it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't really smell anything at all, but he said it. Andy said that it smelled like sour milk, and it was staining his car seat. I was a stinky weird girl, he said. I wanted to explain to him his kiss had caught me off guard. I wasn't normally like this. I tried to mop up flood with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress. It looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word. When I got out, closed his door, closed the whole store, locked it. Never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never even got close again. Yeah, I used to have dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. Who knows? He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, look. Bert and I, Bert and I, Bert and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Bert and I. It was one of those restaurants, like the kind you see in Atlantic City, you know, all big chandeliers, and waiters with vests. Bert would give me an orchid corsage, and I'd pin it on my blazer. We'd laugh. Oh, we were always laughing, Bert and I. Laughing, laughing. We'd eat shrimp cocktail, huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh some more. We were very happy together. And then Bert would look into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant. And just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And then the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There'd be fish inside it, and little boats, and the whole restaurant would be filled with my flood, and Bert would be standing there waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I had done it again. Horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim past him, wearing their tuxedos and evening gowns. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took away everything having to do with down there. Took out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. The doctor thought he was being funny. He said, if you don't use it, you lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyway, right? Highly overrated. I have done other things. I love the dog shows, and I sell antiques. What would it wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. Stop being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. Closed up, under the house, down there. Are you happy? You happy? You got me to talk. You got an old lady to talk about it down there. You feel better now? No. Actually, you're the first person I ever talked to about this, and I feel a little better.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. We didn't always know this. We learned this from the Vagina Workshops. We learned this from a woman who runs the Vagina Workshops, who really believes in the vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps women see their own vaginas while looking at
other women's vaginas.
In the first session, the woman who ran the Vagina Workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas look like to us. There was one woman who was extremely pregnant. She drew a huge, red, screaming mouth with coins spilling out of it. Another very thin woman drew a huge serving plate with a sort of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggly lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space. And the squiggly lines were meant to be people or things or just your basic atoms that got lost there. I always sort of thought of my vagina as an anatomical vacuum, just sucking up particles and objects in the surrounding environment. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I did not think of my vagina as something attached to me.
In the workshop, we were asked to examine our vaginas with our hand mirrors. After careful examination, we were to verbally report back to the group what we saw. I must tell you, up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I'd never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed to me on some abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward lying there on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me what the early astronomers must have thought with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. It's like when you see a fish cut open for the first time, and there's this whole bloody complex world inside, right under the skin. It's so raw, so red, so fresh, and what excited me the most was all the layers. Layers inside layers, opening into more layers. My vagina amazed me. When it came my turn to speak in the workshop, I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman in the workshop explained to be vaginal wonder. My vagina is better than the Grand Canyon, ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. And it could make you laugh. It was funny. Very funny. It could hide and seek and open and close.
Then the woman who ran the Vagina Workshop asked how many women in the workshop had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hand, although I had orgasms. I did not raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I would wake in splendor. They happened on a lot in water, quite frankly. Mostly in the bath. Once in Cape Cod. They happened on bicycles, on horses, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. So I did not raise my hand, although I had orgasms, because I did not know how to make one happen. I thought it was some magical, mystical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved. Contrived, manipulative, it felt Hollywood. The surprise, it would be gone. The problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone. For 2 years. I hadn't had a magical, mystical, accidental orgasm in a very long time. And I was beginning to get frantic. That's why I was in the workshop. Then came the moment that I had both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the Vagina Workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors again and to see if we could locate our clitoris. So there we were, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching with our hand mirrors for our spots. And I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment, or perhaps it was accepting that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone, somewhere was coming to do this for me. That someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming. The simultaneous terrible realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist, because I was in fact terrified that I did not have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those frigid, dead, shut down, dry, apricot tasting bitter. Oh my God! When I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds in the lake. How I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over rocks and fish and bottle caps and slimy things, but never my ring. The panic I felt. I knew I'd be punished.
The woman in the workshop saw her insane scrambling, sweating, and heavy breathing. I've lost it. I shouldn't have wanted swimming. The woman in the workshop came over, laughed, calmly stroked her forehead, and said, "Your clitoris is not something you can lose. It's a part of you. It's the essence of you. It's both the doorbell to your house and the house itself.
You didn't have to find it. You had to be it.
Be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lie back. I close my eyes. I put my hand mirror down. And I watched myself, floating above myself. I watched as I slowly approached myself and then re-entered. It was quiet, this re-entry. Quiet and gentle. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. I bounced and landed and bounced. And then I came into my own blood and cells and muscles. And suddenly, I came into my own vagina. And I fit. Without looking, with my eyes still closed, I suddenly put my finger on what had become me. There was a quiver at first, which urged me to stay. And then the quiver became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. And then the quake broke open onto an ancient plane of innocence and light, which erupted onto another plane of color and light and longing and I lie there thrashing about on my little blue mat.
My vagina is a flower, a tulip, and a destiny.
I am arriving as I'm beginning to leave. My vagina, me.
This is from Woman, an intimate geography by Liane Davenport. The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. Yeah. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves. 8,000 nerve fibers to be precise. That is a higher concentration of nerve fibers than is found anywhere else in the body, including the fingertips, lips, and tongue. And it is twice the number in the penis. Yeah! You have a semi-automatic. Yeah!
At 5 years old, I was putting my baby sister's diapers on. I saw her vagina. I wanted one. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought it would open. I ached to belong. I ached to smell like my mother, her spirit home lived in my hair, on my hands and my skin. I ached to be pretty.
I wondered why I was missing my bathing suit top at the beach, why I wasn't dressed like the other girls. I ached to be completed. I ached to belong, to twirl the baton.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted or as being assigned a hotel room on a 30th floor. It has nothing to do with who you are or your fear of heights. But in spite of the apparatus I was forced to carry around, I always knew I was a girl.
They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting.
To touch,
To pet.
to hug,
To help.
to hold their hands,
For trying to fly in church like Sister Betrayal.
for doing cartwheels,
Crocheting socks.
for carrying purses to kindergarten.
They kicked the shit out of me every day on my way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted nails.
They punched my lipstick mouth. They beat the girl out of my boy.
Or they tried.
So I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man, stand up for yourself, go punch him back.
I grew a full beard.
It was because I was big.
I joined the Marines. Suck it up and drive on.
I became duller,
Jaded.
sometimes cruel.
Butch it.
Butch it.
Butch it up. Always clinched, inaccurate, incomplete.
I ran away from home,
From school.
from boot camp,
Ran to Miami.
Greenwich Village,
Aleutian Island.
New Orleans,
I found gay people.
wilderness lesbians.
Got my first hormone shot. Got permission to be myself.
Yeah,
To transition, to travel, to immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I had count the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
The feminine is in your face. I lift my eyebrows more. I'm curious. I ask questions.
And my voice? Practice, practice. It's all about resonance. Sing song, sing song. Men are monotone and flat. Southern accents are really excellent. Jewish accents really help. Oh, my friend.
And my vagina feels so much friendlier. I cherish it. It brings me joy.
The orgasms come in waves. Before they were jerky.
I'm your girl next door.
My lieutenant colonel father ended up paying for it. My vagina. Woo.
My mother was worried what other people would think of her, that she made this happen. Until I came to church and everyone said, you have a beautiful daughter.
I got to be soft. I'm allowed to listen. I'm allowed to touch. I am able to receive.
To be in the present tense.
People are so much nicer to me now.
I can put my hair in a ponytail.
A wrong was righted.
I am right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's a loud car alarm. When I got my vagina, it was like someone finally turned it off.
I live now in the female zone. But you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like it when you come from someplace else. They don't like it when you mix. They killed my boyfriend. They beat him insanely as he slept with a baseball bat. They beat this girl out of his head. They didn't want him dating a foreigner, even though she was pretty and listened and was kind. They didn't want him falling in love with ambiguity. They were scared he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love.
This is the story of how I came to love my vagina. It's a little embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bad
salt grains from the Dead Sea, little Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the stories. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all of it. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught that fat thighs are beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes, eating Krispy Kreme, lying on our backs, thigh expanding. Yes! But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. So, in order to survive, I began to imagine something else between my legs. Furniture. I pictured cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet satays, or pretty things like silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside of me climbing a muffler or a Chinese bowl. But then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I had ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. He didn't like spicy foods or listen to Prince. In the summer, he spent his time in the shade. He didn't share his inner feelings. He didn't have any problems or issues. He wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't even drive fast. I didn't really like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change on the belly floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies, and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. And that's when the miracle occurred. Turns out Bob loves vaginas. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. No, you, he said. I need to see you. Turn on the light? I said, he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light. Okay, he said, I'm ready. Ready to see you. I'm right here, Bob. He began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I need to see you, he said. No need, just do it. I told him. I need to see what you look like, he said. You've never seen a red leather couch before, Bob? He continued. He wouldn't stop. I wanted to throw up and die. Bob. He was a connoisseur. He loved vaginas. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled. It was crazy. In the light, I watched him looking at me. We were having sex, of course. And he looked so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way that he saw me. I felt beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or waterfall. And Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud. I began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.
Found in UNICEF's 2013 report, Female Genital Mutilation Epidemic. A A statistical overview and exploration of the dynamics of gender. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 200 million young girls and women. In the 30 countries where it is practiced, approximately 30 million girls are at risk of a knife or razor or glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In half of the countries, most cutting occurs before age 5. In the rest of the countries, most cutting occurs between 5 and 14 years of age. Approximately 30 million girls are at risk of being cut if the current trend persists. In a man, it would range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal walls. Long-term, chronic uterine infection, increased pain and agony during childbirth, and early deaths. However, it is on the decline, with the percentage of girls 14 to 19 who have been cut declining from 51% in 1985 to 37% today.
Everything that you saw today, including some flowers. So if you saw someone or something that you liked tonight, we would encourage you to buy a rose or carnation for $1 for one of the actor or actors that particularly moved you or touched you or made you think or feel in some fun, different, exciting way. Can we raise some more money? So I know that you are all on the edge of your seats ready for Act 2, right? Without further ado, Act 2.
My vagina is angry. It is. It's pissed off. My vagina is furious and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking of ways to torture my poor-ass, gentle-loving vagina. Spending their days constructing psychoproducts and mean ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers.
All this shit. They're constantly trying to shove on us, clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. My vagina's not going away. It is pissed off and it's staying right here. My tampons? What the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton shoved up there? Why can't they find a way to suddenly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes in shock. Ugh, closes up, it says, forget about it. We need to introduce the vagina. Here's the way. That's what foreplay's all about. You have to convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton. Stop shoving and stop trying to clean it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up when it smells good already. And don't try to decorate. And don't believe him when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. They're trying to clean it up. Make it smell like a bathroom spray or a garden. And all those douche sprays. Floral, berries, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. All I know when washing a fish
way to do those exams? Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches when you lie down so you feel like a wad of paper still? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? Why the Nazi steel stirrups? The mean, cold duck lips they shove inside you. What's that? My vagina is angry about those visits. It gets defensive weeks in advance. It won't go out of the house.
Then you get there. Don't you hate that? Scoop down, wax your vagina. Why? Do you have mean cold duck lips inside it? No. Why can't they find some nice purple delicious stuff and wrap me in it, lay me down on a feathery cotton spread, put on some friendly pink or blue gloves, put my feet in fur-covered stirrups, warm up the duck lips. Work with my vagina. But no, more torture. Dry wad of fucking cotton, cold duck lips, and thong underwear. That's the worst. Thong underwear. Who thought that up? Moves around the time just because the back of your butt.
Vaginas are supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that. Something to give them pleasure. No. Of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice pair of soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in. Women will be coming all day long. Coming in the supermarket? Coming on the subway? Plumbing happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it, seeing all those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas.
If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself, like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. Nothing else, just they're all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped to cut a giant baby. I thought I was going to be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel. It doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things and get out more.
It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. It wants change. It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants. My vagina, well, it wants everything.
This piece is for the women in Bosnia.
My vagina was green. Soft pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting lightly, sweet boyfriend touching with soft piece of long straw.
There's something between my legs. Do not know what it is. Do not know where it is. Do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since. My vagina is chatty. Can't wait so much trying. Can't quit saying, oh yes. Oh yes. Not since I dream there's a dead animal sewn in down there with thick black fishing line. And the bad dead animal smell cannot be removed. And its throat is slit and it bleeds through all of my summer dresses. My vagina, singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina songs,
Vagina home songs. Not since the soldiers put a long, thick rifle inside of me. So cold, the steel rod canceling out my heart, don't know whether they're gonna fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them! Monstrous doctors with black masks shoving bottles at me too. There were sticks, the end of a broom. My vagina, swimming river water, clean, spilling river water over sun-baked stones, over stone, clip, stones, over and over. Not since I heard the skin tear and make lemon screeching noises. Not since the piece of my vagina came off in my hand, part of the lip. Now one part of the lip is completely gone. My vagina, alive, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown. Not since they took turns for 7 days, smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside of me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died, and the fish. My vagina, alive, wet water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burnt it down. Do not touch now. No, do not miss it. I live someplace else now. I don't know where that is.
My short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, an indication that I want it, or that I give it, or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. It does not want you to rip it off of me or pull it down. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. It will not hold up in the new court. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or pass or feel to live inside. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am before you made me cover it up or tone it down. Get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am hot. My short skirt is a liberation flag in the woman's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. Yes. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish, a summer festival in the starry dark, a bird calling, a train arriving in a foreign town. My short skirt is a wild spin, a full breath, a tango dip. My short skirt is initiation, appreciation, excitation, but mainly my short skirt and everything underneath it is mine.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie snorcher. I become terrified that I scratched it off down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid of the water getting in and filling me up, so I explode. I put Band-Aids over my coochie to cover the hole. Fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug up there to prevent things from entering me. I sleep with 3 pairs of happy, heart-patterned cotton underpants underneath my snap-up pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory. 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets angry at me, and he punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home. I can't pee. My mama asks me what's wrong with my coochie snorcher, and when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she yells at me and says never to let anyone touch me down there again. I try to explain that he didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory. 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling, and impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my coochie snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital, and they sew it up down there from where it's been torn apart. Memory. 10 years old. I'm at my father's house, and he's having a party upstairs. Everyone's drinking. I'm playing alone in the basement, and I'm trying on my new cotton white bra and underpants my father's girlfriend gave me. Suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man Alfred, comes up from behind and pulls my new underpants down and sticks his big hard penis into my coochie snorcher. I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, but he already gets in. My father's there then, and he has a gun, and there's a loud, horrible noise, and then there's blood all over Alfred and me, lots of blood. I am sure my coochie snorcher is finally falling out. Alfred is paralyzed for life, and my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My coochie snorcher is a very bad place. It's a place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, and blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs, and I'm traveling, going far away from here. Memory. 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in our neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day, she invites me into her car. She asks me if I like to kiss boys, and I tell her I do not like that. Then, she says she wants to show me something, and she leans over and kisses me so soft on the lips with her lips, and then she puts her tongue in my mouth. Wow. She asks me if I want to come over to her house, and then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asks my mama if I can spend the night, and my mother's delighted that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm scared, and I can't wait. Her apartment's fantastic. She's got it hooked up. It's the 70s, the beads, the fluffy pillows, the mood lights. I decide right there, I want to be a secretary like her when I grow up. She makes a vodka for herself, and then she asks what I want to drink. I say, same as she's drinking. She says she doesn't think my mama would like me drinking vodka. I say, she probably wouldn't like me kissing girls either. And the pretty lady makes me a drink. Then she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I always thought bulldaggers were ugly. I say, you look great. She says, so do you. I say, but I only have this white cotton bra and underpants. Then she dresses me, slowly, in another satin teddy. It's lavender, like the first soft days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head, and I'm loose and ready. There's a picture above her bed of a naked black woman with a huge afro. She gently and slowly lays me out on the bed, and just our bodies rubbing makes me come. Then she does everything to me and my Coochi Snorcher I always thought was nasty before, and wow! I'm so hot, so wild. She says, your vagina, untouched by man, smells so nice, so fresh. Wish I could keep it that way forever. I get crazy wild. And then the phone rings. And of course, it's my mama. I'm sure she knows. She catches me at everything. I'm breathing so heavy, and I try to act normal when I get on the phone. And she asks, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? I say, no, Mama, exercising. Then she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure I'm not around any boys. And the lady tells her, trust me, there's no boys around here. Afterwards, the gorgeous lady teaches me everything about my Coochi Snorcher. She makes me play with myself in front of her and shows me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She says to always know how to give myself pleasure so I never need to rely on a man. In the morning, I'm worried that I've become a butch. Because I'm so in love with her. She laughs, but I never see her again. I realized later that she was my surprising, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass Coochi Snorcher and raised it into a kind of heaven.
I call it cunt. I've reclaimed it. Cunt. I really like it. Cunt. I listen to it. Cunt. Cavern, cackle, clit, cute, come, close, see, close, inside, then you, then Q, then curvy, inviting, sharp skin, you, uniform, under, up, urgent, you. Then in, then con, snug letters fitting perfectly together. Next, now, next is nice. Always decked, always round and uppercase. Con, and a jagged, wicked electrical pulse in. Then warm in, then soft in, then tea. Certain sharp, tangy tea. Texture, take, tint, tight, tantalizing, tendrils, taste. Time, tactile, tell me, cunt, say it, tell me, cunt.
red high tops, and a Metcalf worn backwards.
If it could speak, what would it say?
Words that begin with V and T. Turtle and violin are examples.
What's special about your vagina?
Somewhere deep inside, there's a really, really smart brain.
What does it smell like?
Snowflakes.
I was there when her vagina opened.
We were all there. Her husband, her mother, and I. And the nurse from the Ukraine with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning with her rubber glove as she chatted casually with us, like she was turning on a loaded faucet.
I was there when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak from her pores. And I was still there after hours when she just screamed, suddenly wild, her arms striking at the electric air.
I was there when her vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny stuck child inside waiting to be rescued.
I saw the colors of her vagina. They changed. I saw the bruised, broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray pink, the light, the dark, the blood-like perspiration around the edges, the yellow, white liquid, the shit, the clots, pushing out of all the holes, pushing harder and harder. Saw through the hole, the baby's head, just behind the bone. Tufts of black hair. A round, hard memory. As the nurse from Ukraine kept turning and turning her slippery hand.
I was there when each of us, her mother and I, took a leg and spread her wide, pushing with all of our might against her pushing, while her husband sternly counted 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus, harder!
We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of that place. We forget the vagina. All of us. What else could explain the lack of awe? The lack of reverence? I was still there when the doctor reached in with Alice in Wonderland spoons. And as her vagina became a wide, operatic mouth, singing with all of its strength. First, the baby's head, then the gray, flapping arm, and then the fast-swimming body, swimming quickly into our weeping arms.
I was there later, when I turned and faced her vagina. I stood and let myself see her all spread, completely exposed, mutilated, swollen and torn, bleeding all over the doctor's hands who was calmly sewing her there. I just stood, and suddenly her vagina became a wide, red, beating heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let you in. It can expand and let you out. So can the vagina. It can ache for you and stretch for you, die for you, and bleed you into this difficult and wondrous world. I was there in the room. I remember.
Sex workers have rich,
relationships with their vaginas. This particular girl focused on she was a sex worker. Who did sex work?
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this. No, on the contrary, I started out as a lawyer. But then in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It began as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved in it. I became very good at it, kind of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had finally found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women. Lace and silk and leather. And I used props. Whips. Handcuffs. Rope. Dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. There were no props, no excitement. And I hated those blue corporate suits, although I do wear them from time to time in my new line of work, and they serve quite nicely. There were no props in corporate law, no wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no erect nipples, no delicious mouths. No. But mainly there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyway. It was moaning, I see now, that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, and I would see women in the movies making strange, orgasmic, moaning sounds as they made love, I would laugh. I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that big, outrageous, ungoverned sounds like that came out of women. I longed to moan. I would practice in front of my mirror on my tape recorder, moaning in various keys, various tones. But always when I played it back, it sounded fake. It was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, just in my desire to be sexual. But then, when I was 10 years old, I had to pee really badly once, on a car trip. It went on for over an hour, and when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station bathroom, it was so exciting, I moaned. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me, moaning in a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. It was then I realized that moans are connected to not getting what you want right away, with putting things off. I realized that the best moans caught you by surprise. They came from this hidden, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans were, in fact, that language. I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus, and they'd lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in my building, and people stared at me with contempt in the elevator. Men thought I was too intense. Some called me insane. I began to feel bad about my moaning. I grew quiet and polite. I made noise into a pillow. I learned to choke my moan, to hold it back like a sneeze. I started getting headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming hopeless when I discovered women.
excited I got when other women moaned, when I was responsible for other women moaning. I made love to quiet women and found a place deep inside them, and they shocked themselves with their moaning. I made love to moaners and helped them find a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was a kind of a surgery, a delicate science, finding the exact tempo and location or home of the moan. That's what I call it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it off the record, disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I used force, but not violent, oppressive force, more like dominating. I'm gonna take you someplace. Don't worry. Lie back and enjoy the ride. Kind of force. Sometimes I would find it in simply a mundane way. While we were eating salad or chicken in the kitchen, just right there, with my fingers. Here it is, like that. Real simple. All mixed in with a balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I used props. I loved props. Sometimes I would make a woman find her own moan in front of me. I'd stick it out, wait until she really opened herself. I wasn't fooled by the obvious, more minor moans. No, I pushed her all the way into her power moan. There's a clit moan. The vaginal moan. The combo clit vaginal moan. The almost moan. The right on it moan. The elegant moan. The grace slick moan. The wasp moan. The Jewish moan. No. African-American moan. Oh, shit! The Irish Catholic moan.
Forgive me.
Then there's the mountaintop moan. The baby moan. The doggy moan. The uninhibited, militant, bisexual moan. The machine gun moan. The tortured Zen moan. Oh. The diva moan. The college moan.
I should be studying.
And finally, the surprise triple orgasm moan.
revolution, it happens because it has to happen. In every neighborhood, village, city, and town. At gatherings of tribes, of students, of women at the market and on the bus. It may be gradual and soft. It may be spontaneous and loud. It may be happening already. It may be found in your closet, your drawers, your gut, your legs, your multiplying cells, and in the naked mouth of hot nipples and overflowing breasts. My revolution is swelling from the insatiable drumming between my legs. My revolution is willing to die for this. My revolution is ready to live big. My revolution is overthrowing the state of mind called patriarchy. My revolution will not be choreographed, but it begins with a few familiar steps. My revolution is not violent, but it will not shy away from the dangerous edges where fierce displays of resistance tumble into something new.
My revolution is in this body, in these hips atrophied by misogyny, in this jaw wired mute by hunger and atrocity. My revolution is passion, not profit, is connection, not consumption, is orgasm, not ownership. My revolution is of the earth and comes from her, for her, because of her. It understands that every time we frack or drill or burn or violate the layers of her sacredness, we violate the soul of our future. My revolution is not ashamed to press my body down on her mud floor in front banyan, cypress, pine, callian, chestnut, oak, mulberry, redwood, sycamore trees. To bow shamelessly to shocking yellow birds and blue rose-setting skies, heart-exploding purple bougainvillea and aqua seeds. My revolution gladly kisses the feet of mothers and nurses and servers and cleaners and nannies and healers and all who are life and who give life. My revolution is on its knees, on my knees, to every holy thing, and to those who carry empire-made burdens in and on their heads and backs and hearts.
My revolution demands abandon, expects the original, relies on troublemakers, anarchists, poets, shamans, seers, sexual explorers, tricksters, mystic travelers, tightrope walkers, and those who go too far and who feel too much. My revolution shows up unexpectedly. It offers prophecy, not prescription. It can't be categorized, branded, targeted, or even vocal. It's delivered by mystery and ecstatic joy. It requires listening. It isn't centralized, but we all know where we're going.
My revolution becomes stages and all at once. It happens where you live and everywhere. It understands that divisions are diversions. It requires sitting still and looking into my eyes. Go ahead, love.